So this is probably as close to a Marvel film I'll ever review, not because it's about superheroes, but because it's all CGI and boring as shit. So we are back in the Lust of the Dead, aka Rape Zombies, cinematic universe. And if this film is a sign of the rest of the sequels, because there are 5, let that sink in, I'm doomed to a lot of shitty zombie movies. Which I'm not saying the first one was this masterpiece of cinema, it was terrible, but at least it was a splatter, Japanese, sleazy good time. Unlike this film, who's mainly comprised of dialogue, exposition, and holy shit, a lot of terrible green screen. I had taken a lot of notes detailing every moment of the film, just like what I did with the first one, except this movie was such a boring piece of shit that fuck that. I'm not reading these notes. I'll go from memory. So the film starts with a recap of the previous film. Again, all men are turned into zombie rapists, there is a lady prime minister, and then North Korea was sending a nuclear missile to Japan, which back when I made that first video was a meme. It's now a news headline. And the recap is played over the opening credit, and it's also played over terrible music. Get used to that because the music in this film is as good as listening to me shit diarrhea out of my asshole. Then we meet our couple, because forget about the characters from the previous film until the 60-minute mark, this is now our main characters. They're celebrating their anniversary, so they're having a romantic dinner together during the nuclear post-apocalypse while there are rapist zombies running around the city. They were like, yeah, you know, let's make ourselves some rice and I'll eat your ass after. That's what couples do, right? I've never had an anniversary. My longest relationship was 3 weeks. Anyways, our characters get distracted when they hear sounds coming from the corridor. So our man, since he's the big tough man, goes out to explore and see what that noise was coming from. So he opens the door and then our lady gets attacked by a zombie that goes through the window. During that time, our man is just staring at the corridor. Maybe he didn't hear, I don't know, the glass shatter or his wife crying. Eventually, he, realizes that his wife is getting attacked by a rape zombie, so he goes back into the kitchen and decapitates the zombie, and we get our first and possibly only scene of gore. But the lady is like, hey, you idiot, you don't remember from the first film, you gotta cut their cocks off or else they won't die. And that's exactly what she does, and then she gets blood all over her face, and they decide to, escape. And that's where we see our first outside set, which is green screened, and get used to that because every scene that's not indoors is shot in front of a green screen, and it's very not convincing. Afterwards, we meet the team of otakus, and at first you expect them to be the nice guys, they're virgins and they don't turn into zombies, so they must, use their powers to do good. They do not. They run around with zombies like dogs on leashes and send them on women for them to, of course, get, murdered. And we see that when a woman in an orange kimono gets chased by a zombie that has a, giant monster penis. Again, on my channel, apparently I have a thing for gigantic monster penises, because I think it's the 5th movie I've reviewed so far that has a giant monster penis. But this one is different, because there are secretion coming out of the tip. I could have said that less gross, but I didn't. Fuck you. And eventually the kimono lady gets caught by the zombie, and we get to see this film's wonderful, beautiful, artistically wonderful camera movements that are totally not distracting, and they really don't give you a headache. After that, our group of otakus go back into the city to find new victims, and they do. However, it's not an easy victim because she is a cyborg sent from the United States Army. And I'm really confused about the actress. I don't know if it's a white actor doing Japanese face or if it's a Japanese actor doing white face. Either way, she doesn't stand for their bullshit and murders all of the otakus. She burns burns them alive. It's like an incel barbecue, which would be a great name for a death metal album. During that time, our couple gets saved from the army, and by that I mean two ladies in camos. They save them and they realize that the guy isn't a zombie, neither is he an otaku, so he's a specimen and they need to study him. So they'll bring the couple to the military base where researchers are doing research about rapist zombies. And during that time, Whiteface Cyborg meets a doctor. Well, what looks to be a doctor, and they talk. And for the rest of the film, the only time we'll see the cyborg will be with that doctor, and the only purpose they have is to do long, useless exposition dumps. So we're just gonna forget about these two because it's so unimportant and so uninteresting. Unlike our main couple, which will also be just exposition dumps and useless, uninteresting information for the rest of the film. So the couple arrives at the refugee kind of camp and they meet the doctor, and during that time the researcher is doing some research on a dead zombie with an enormous penis again, and yeah, remember Bub in Day of the Dead? Well, the giant cocked zombie is kind of like Bub. They make him talk and he goes on this big rant that would probably get him a lot of Reddit karma. I don't know, I was so bored at this point in the film that I didn't read most of the subtitles. I was just laughing at the fact that there was a zombie with a giant erect penis. I think this video might get age restricted. And afterwards, the couple sits with the researchers and they're flabbergasted by the idea that the man hasn't turned into a zombie and they want to study his sperm. So they're like, yo couple, next time you do the good deed, could you sample some jism? And they're like, well, of course, why not? But not that night because the guy is very tired. And the rest of the film is exposition. Oh, our two soldiers that saved the couple have this very hot lesbian scene, probably the highlight of the film. And then we get more exposition dump. And it's boring, and it's useless, and it's so shitty. I don't even want to talk about this fucking piece of shit anymore. How you guys been? Seen any good movies recently? I saw Pearl in the theater. It was actually pretty good. I'd call it more of a drama than a horror film, but a good way to, you know, a good prequel to X. I still personally prefer X because X is more of a slasher. Other than that, I haven't seen really any other movies at the theater because I got COVID, so I couldn't really go. But there's like this meme on my channel about Smile, and I'm kind of curious actually to go see Smile. I'm uninterested by Halloween Ends. I haven't seen any of the remake sequels that have come out since I think 2016 or 2018. The new Scream, I'll probably go see it. I don't really like Scream, but my friend worked on it in production, so I'll feel like I kind of need to, because, you know, it's rare that your friend works on a horror movie, especially something as big as Scream. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. How have you been? Have you guys been buying a lot of stuff? I bought a lot of stuff. And then after about 30 minutes of useless shit, this movie has the balls to give us a to be continued at the hour mark. So this film has no conclusion. So I guess I'll have to watch the third one. I'm not happy about that. So, should you watch Lust of the Dead 2? No.